It is Saturday, February 3rd, and the Splash Zone is back in your life. I am Matt Modi with my 3 favorite NBA player props for tonight. Recording this a little bit later than normal. Appreciate you guys sticking with me there. But I did find 3 players, 3 bangers that I absolutely loved for today's NBA betting slate. Before I can give you today's picks, got to do a recap from yesterday. And our hot streak continued. Another awesome day that we had yesterday. I gave out 4 picks yesterday. We got 3 of those 4 to cash. The only play we missed was James Harden over 20.5 points. Just a bit outside on that one as Harden only scored 4 points. But we cashed both Kyle Kuzma and Karl Anthony Towns' under, and we cashed Trae Young over his point prop as well. We ended yesterday again 3-1, up 2.10 units. Great day yesterday. That also makes this a 5-2 run that we are on the past 2 days, because on Thursday's slate, I went 2-1 on my 3 picks. So we are in the middle of a hot streak. Let's hope we can keep it up tonight. That brings our total profit season to date. We are up 46.14 units, which is incredible. If you are a $100 unit bettor, you are up $4,600 on my NBA player props since the season started, with an ROI of 26.09%. Amazing, amazing success that we are having. And we're not done yet. We're looking to continue that success tonight. If you're new to my channel, or if you're not already, I would appreciate it if you could hit the subscribe button. As I mentioned, we've been on fire. You're going to want to be along the ride for that. And then for this video, if you can interact with it, I love reading the comments. I love seeing when people like the video. So comment, let me know your thoughts, whether you're tailing, whether you're not, if there are bangers that you like. All that stuff is super helpful for me in the comments. And now we can get into today's bangers. We're ready to get wet. Our first play, our first banger of the day, is in the Nets versus 76ers game, and I'm taking Tyrese Maxey under 6.5 assists. This is offered at -115 odds at ESPN Bet. And I will say all 3 plays today are on ESPN Bet, so go ahead and log in and just get comfy there. So Maxey came back into the lineup last game against the Jazz, was amazing, scored 51 points, but we're fading him tonight. Granted, we're not fading his points, we're fading his assists. On the year, Maxey's generally been pretty good as a playmaker. He's gone over this number in 23 of 43 games, averaging just over 6 assists per game at 6.2. But tonight's the night, not the night, where you're going to want to fade his assists. As good as Maxey has been all year, the reality is he racks up a lot of assists with his 2-man game with Joel Embiid. That makes sense, right? Their 2-man game has been really good this year. Their pick and roll has been awesome. Not quite as lethal as it was last year with James Harden and Joel Embiid, but still very, very good. So it's only natural for him to average fewer assists when Embiid's not in the lineup, and Embiid will be missing the game tonight. On the entire year, Maxey's played in 10 games without Embiid. He has gone under this assist number in 6 of those 10 games, and he's only averaging 5.2 assists in those 10 games as well. With Embiid on the court, Maxey has an assist rate of 27.27%. With Embiid off the court, that goes down to 22.93%. So almost a 5% difference with Embiid on the court versus off the court, which again, all that stuff makes sense. Now for the matchup. The Nets are generally a pretty tough matchup when it comes to point guard assists. On the entire year, they're allowing the 7th fewest assists per game to opposing point guards. But over the past month, that's gone down to the 3rd fewest assists per game to opposing point guards. And that kind of makes sense when you look at the Nets defense. They have a lot of tall, lanky wings. So it kind of make it difficult for someone like Maxey, who's a little bit of a slighter point guard. Overall, only 2 of the past 8 point guards against the Nets have gone over their assist over under. And to even further demonstrate the point, it looks like a tough matchup according to Courtside Pal as well. Now, the Nets give up the 13th fewest assists per game to someone of Maxey's playmaking style. That's more middle of the pack than anything, but the 6th fewest assists per game to someone of Maxey's shooting profile, and the 5th fewest assists per game to someone of Maxey's scoring profile. Now, I've explained shooting profile and scoring profile. I have not yet explained playmaking style. Someone mentioned that in the comments. I apologize for that. So Courtside Pal uses playmaking style to measure how aggressive a player is and what type of shots they assist on. So all 3 are really important to look at. Obviously, for points, you want to look more into shooting and scoring. With assists, you want to look more into playmaking, but I like to look at all 3 because I think they're all kind of connected, right? How a player shoots and scores is also going to impact how they play make. So all that stuff is connected. All that stuff makes it look like the Nets are a tough matchup for Maxey. So I think there's a ton of reasons why we should fade Maxey assist tonight. This is probably my favorite play on the board. If you only took one play, this Maxey one is probably my favorite play. Obviously, we're taking all 3 and we're tracking all 3, but if you just want to bet one, I really like this Maxey one. Next up, second play, Warriors versus Hawks game. Steph Curry over 27.5 points, even money plus 100 odds at ESPN Bet. So Maxey's going to be our only under play of the day. Now let's get to some overs backing Steph Curry. Just need him to get to 28 or more points in this one. I will admit I was pretty close to pumping this bad boy up to 30 plus points, but I decided to play it safe and just take the over 27.5. We're getting a really good price on this at ESPN Bet, giving this to us at even money. BetOnline actually favors the over at 27.5 points, pricing it at like minus 130. And then DraftKings also has this priced heavier, more likely to occur than the ESPN Bet number that we're getting. So that's why I stuck with 27.5. But I wouldn't blame anybody that wanted to pump this up to 30. So Steph did miss this last game. He only scored 20 points last night against the Grizzlies. I do like this as somewhat of a fade of recent results because he was on fire the 3 games prior to that. He actually had scored 30 or more points in all 3 games prior to this last one. He had 33 against the Kings. He had 46 against the Lakers. Granted, that game went into double overtime, but he still had 30 by the end of regulation. And then he had 37 points against the Sixers. And I'm also not scared off by the fact that the Warriors are on the second half of a back-to-back. Curry has played in 7 games this year in which he's been on the second half of a back-to-back. He's cashed this over in 4 of those 7 games. He actually has scored 30 points in all 4 of those games. He went over as well. And in 2 of the games he missed, he was right there. 27 points in one game he missed, 26 in another. He's also playing generally his normal allotment of minutes. He's averaging over 32 minutes per game on the second half of a back-to-back, so it's not like his playing time is significantly cut either. I'm almost talking myself into pumping this up to 30, but I'm still going to stick with my official play. But the matchup against the Hawks, very, very juicy matchup. Obviously, the Hawks defense, they just stink in general. They also stink at guarding someone like Steph Curry. The Hawks allow the 3rd most points per game to someone of Steph's shooting profile and the 7th most points per game to someone of his scoring profile. Now, I also will admit, if you look at how the Hawks defense guards Steph from a playmaking perspective, it also does look like a juicy matchup for Steph assists. So maybe we go really spicy and we take Steph Curry 30 points, 10 assists parlay. Both are good plays, to be honest with you. I'm just sticking with the points. Again, Steph did miss this in his last game against the Grizzlies. He only scored 20 points. He also missed this the last time the Warriors played the Hawks, in which he only scored 25 points. So I like this as a bounce back game for Steph for a couple different reasons, a couple different bounce back factors. Lastly, third and final pick of the evening, Jalen Brunson over 7.5 assists plus 120 odds at ESPN Bet. We're going full circle with this one. We faded Brunson assist on Thursday's video. That cashed with ease. Now we're zagging, however you want to call it, and we're taking the over for Jalen Brunson tonight. In that game in which Brunson went under, scored 40 points. He just went off in that game. Of course, that's always going to be a factor with how good Jalen Brunson has been playing, but that one assist is more of an outlier than anything. And this is definitely a flip-flop method of all types of flip-flop method, considering he had 1 assist last game, and we're taking him to get at least 8 tonight. With that said, that game against the Pacers, there is a reason why we were fading him from an assist perspective. The Pacers, as bad as they are on defense, they do not allow a lot of point guard assists. Prior to that Pacers game, he'd generally been pretty good from a playmaking perspective. He had gone over in 2 of his last 3 games. He had gone over in 5 of his last 9, and he had gone over in 8 of his last 14. So generally trending towards the over, taking out the last game against the Pacers. Now, it's not always this simple, but if you look at the teams in which he went under versus the teams in which he went over, it's a pretty clear line in the sand. The teams that were juicy matchups, he went over. The teams that were tough matchups, he went under. Now, it's not always going to be that simple, but for tonight, he does have a very good assist matchup against the Lakers. That's why we're going to be rocking with him. Over the past 2 weeks, the Lakers are allowing the 8th most assists per game to opposing point guards. 5 of the last 6 point guards against the Lakers have gone over their assist over-under. Trae Young played the Lakers. He had 13 assists on an over-under of 10.5. Fred VanVleet had 14 assists on an over-under of 8.5. So not only are these guys going over, but they're smoking their over as well. Like Steph Curry hit 7 on an over-under of 5.5, stuff like that. According to Courtside Pal, the Lakers are allowing the 8th most assists per game to someone of Brunson's playmaking style, the 2nd most assists per game to someone of his shooting profile, and the 4th most assists per game is someone of his scoring profile. So across the board, Juicy, juicy matchup for Brunson and his assists number, which is why we're rocking with his over. And for plus 120 odds, it's great value there. And that's all we got. 3 bangers for you guys to lock in. Appreciate everybody. If you could like the video, comment, and then I mentioned subscribe. If you want my picks texted to you, I have a Dub Club for $5 a month. Link to it is in the video description and comment. It's the same plays that I give out on YouTube. Some people just like to get them quicker and they like to just have them texted to them as opposed to watching the YouTube video and getting them from there. Doesn't matter to me. You can spend $5 a month to get them quicker. You can watch the videos for the analysis. Either way, I'm rocking with you, and I appreciate everybody who is tuning in. But that's all we got. 3 bangers for tonight. Appreciate everybody watching, and have a good one.